parking downstairs, right? I think it's great. But I expect it.
Excuse me? Can I have all the flag bearers gather to the left side of the stage to get ready? Kính thưa quý vị, ai mà giúp chúng tôi góp phần bước lên quốc kỳ thì xin hãy đi đến bên trái của sân khấu để mình tập trung và mình bắt đầu thực hiện chương trình. can we have everyone return to your seat and be ready for our flag opening ceremony?
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Everyone found a seat or a place to stand in the back? It feels good to have a full house. As we know, today marks the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War. Good evening. My name is Philip Nguyen, and I'll be one of your co-MCs for this evening, along with the beautiful Ji Mun right beside me. On behalf of the Vietnamese American Roundtable, or VAR, welcome to our 13th annual Black April commemoration as we remember 50 years since the fall of Saigon. Tonight's theme, Honoring History, Shaping Tomorrow, is a remembrance of the sacrifices and hardships of our elders as they lost their country, left their homelands, and rebuilt their lives in America for generations to come.
Kính thưa quý vị, thay mặt cho Vietnamese American Roundtable, Nguyên Minh và Philip Nguyễn xin cảm ơn quý vị đã đến tham dự lễ tưởng niệm 30 tháng 4 kỷ niệm 50 năm.
We now invite everyone to please rise for a flag procession led by representatives and members of local Vietnamese American community organizations and associations. The procession will be followed by the national anthem of the United States of America, the anthem of the Republic of Vietnam, and a moment of silence. "50 representatives with 50 flags represent each of the years since April 30th, 1975.
Quốc ca Hoa Kỳ.
please, if you all could stay standing for the U.S. National Anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, performed by Jocelyn Nguyen, a student at UC Davis who proudly serves in the U.S. Army Reserves, where she spent nearly 7 years as a vocalist in the 191st Army Rock Band. Jocelyn. Performing the anthem of the Republic of Vietnam is Victoria Thuy McDowell, a third-year student at SJSU, a former Miss Teen Vietnam USA, and the voice of let me just do that one more time. Performing the anthem of the Republic of Vietnam, Dinh Gọi Công Dân, is Victoria Thuy McDowell, a third-year student at SJSU, a former Miss Teen Vietnam USA, and the voice of the capital of Silicon Valley. Victoria has performed with us almost for nearly 10 years since she was a child, so it's especially meaningful for us today to have her start our program off. Victoria?
Quốc ca Việt Nam Cộng Hòa.
Này công dân ơi, quốc gia đến ngày giải phóng, đồng lòng cùng đi hy sinh thích gì thân sống, vì tương lai quốc dân cùng sống và với tên, làm sao cho núi sông từ nay luôn vững bền, dù cho thay phơi trên gông giáo, thù nước lấy máu đào đêm bao, nổi dao nước biên phải cần giải nguy, người công dân luôn vững bền tâm trí, hùng tráng quyết chiến đấu, làm cho khắp nơi vang tiếng người nước Nam cho đến muôn đời. Công dân ơi, mau hiến thân dưới cờ, công dân ơi, mau làm cho cõi bờ thoát cơn tàn phát, vẽ vang nòi giống xứng danh nghìn năm dòng dòng lạc hồng.
We now ask that you join us in a moment of silence to honor the lives that were lost in the fight for freedom. A moment of silence to honor and remember the sacrifices made by the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, including 7 military leaders who defended Vietnam until the very end of the war.
Sau đây là một phút mặc niệm để tưởng nhớ những chiến sĩ quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, 7 vị tướng lãnh và những chiến sĩ vô danh đã hy sinh cho đất nước.
A moment of silence to honor and remember the sacrifices made by the men and women of the United States Armed Forces.
Một phút mặc niệm để tưởng nhớ những chiến sĩ đồng minh Hoa Kỳ đã anh dũng hy sinh bảo vệ tự do dân chủ.
A moment of silence to honor refugee lives lost while escaping a country that was no longer theirs in search of freedom.
Một phút mặc niệm để tưởng nhớ những người đã hy sinh trên con đường vượt biên, vượt biển, đi tìm lý tưởng tự do.
A moment of silence begins.
Một phút mặc niệm bắt đầu.
Thank you to our community volunteers, participants, and performers for being a part of our opening ceremony for this year's Black April commemoration. You may now be seated as we continue with our program. Thank you.
Xin cảm ơn các tình nguyện viên trong cộng đồng đã góp mặt trong lễ khai mạc tưởng niệm tháng Tư đen ngày hôm nay.
Our program tonight is organized into 4 parts. The Fall of Saigon, our refugee journeys from the fall, when we arrived and resettled in the United States, and how we built the Vietnamese American community and culture here in San Jose, Santa Clara County, Northern California, and America.
Hôm nay VOR tổ chức buổi lễ tưởng niệm với mong muốn ghi nhớ và tri ân hành trình lịch sử của cộng đồng. Một hành trình mà đối với chúng em được gói gọn trong 4 chặng đường đầy ý nghĩa. Chặng đầu tiên bắt đầu từ ngày Sài Gòn thất thủ, mở ra một chương sử đau thương. Từ đó, hàng trăm ngàn người Việt đã vượt biên đầy nguy hiểm, rời bỏ quê hương trong khát vọng tìm đến tự do. Chặng đường thứ 3 là những ngày đầu đặt trên đất Mỹ, xa lạ, bỡ ngỡ nhưng cũng tràn đầy hy vọng. Và cuối cùng là chặng đường mà chúng ta tự hào nhất, từng bước xây dựng một cộng đồng người Việt, nơi văn hóa, tiếng Việt và tinh thần Việt Nam tiếp tục được gìn giữ và phát triển ở đất Mỹ.
I love my mother tongue from the moment I was born is an ode to the idea that we are always connected to our Vietnamese heritage. And the opening lyrics to the next song, Tình Ca by Phạm Duy. The backdrop for our opening youth dance by Viet Steps as they connect second generations with Vietnamese culture and song through dance, led by Jiu Quang, who has performed at Black April since her days as a VSA student. If you could all please put your hands together and welcome the Viet Steps youth performing the song Tình Ca.
Kính thưa quý vị, dù được sinh ra và lớn lên tại Mỹ, nhưng Nguyên Minh sẽ không bao giờ quên mình là người Việt Nam. Tôi yêu tiếng nước tôi từ khi mới ra đời. Từ nhỏ, từ đầu tiên Nguyên Minh học không phải là mom và dad, mà là cha và mẹ. tiếng Việt Nam. Xin mời quý vị nhớ đến hình ảnh quê hương Việt Nam mà chúng ta đã rời xa qua bài tình ca của nhạc sĩ Phạm Duy trình bày bởi nhóm múa Việt Steps.
Thank you so much to Viet Steps. Let's give another warm round of applause for the Viet Steps youth. And thank you to Gun for teaching the youth how to dance for the next generation. We would now like to invite members of the Board of Directors for the Vietnamese American Roundtable, Ms. Mimi Nguyen and Christina Johnson, to the stage to share some remarks for this evening's program.
Sau đây xin mời cô Mimi Nguyễn và Christina Johnson, thành viên của Hội đồng Quản trị của VOR, gửi đôi lời đến quý vị.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Vietnamese American Roundtable, we thank you for being here to honor our 50th commemoration with us. 5 decades ago, our community began our exodus and arrival to the United States. A photo in the Viet Museum shows one of the earliest Black April at St. James Park, where we gathered together to remember a lost homeland and unite to build anew. The spirit of our community is unity. Unity is what drives us to organize this commemoration each year, to have agency to reflect on our own shared experiences in order to envision what a shared future may look like. This day is a complicated day for our community, and in turn is a complicated commemoration to organize, as we seek to provide a space for each of us, for each of our generations to be reflected in this event. For our elderly community, we know we cannot understand your true sense of loss. We hope by hosting this event with your traditions and bilingual in our mother tongue, that we ensure that what you experience has a known chapter in this country.
For our 1.5 generation who grew up in both countries, we know we cannot capture the sense of displacement or duality of cultures for you, or the complicated emotions of this day for you. We hope that by organizing this event, it gives you time or space to process as you need. For our second generations and beyond, those born here, we know the difficulties of trying to learn a complex and emotional history in a language that isn't native to our tongue, while working towards an empowered political future where history doesn't repeat itself. Many of our organizers and volunteers over the years now have their own young children. We hope that tonight's event helps connect each of our successive generations to our shared history, so the next generations add their chapters to the next 50 years, and that we never forget the sacrifices in the search for freedom and human rights. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your stories and memories with us.
Thank you both. If you look around, it's a pretty intergenerational crowd right now, and we hope to keep it that way for the next 50 years. We've gathered here today, and as I continue to look out into the crowd, I see some familiar faces in the audience, especially since we've had so many events throughout the course of the month of April. As we remember this historic event that marked the end of the war in Vietnam and changed the lives of so many of our families forever, the fall of Saigon. We remember our families' heroism and sacrifices from this moment in history, when they said farewell, leaving, never knowing whether or ever if they'd return to their homelands again.
Cho dù chúng em có đọc bao nhiêu quyển sách, xem bao nhiêu bộ phim tài liệu, hay lắng nghe biết bao nhiêu câu chuyện được kể lại, thì thế hệ trẻ chúng em sẽ không bao giờ thấu hiểu trọn vẹn nỗi đau và mất mát của những người Việt Nam đã phải rời bỏ quê hương và vĩnh biệt Việt Nam mãi mãi. Chúng em xin được bày tỏ lòng biết ơn sâu sắc đối với hành trình gian nan của ông bà, cha mẹ qua nhạc phẩm Một lần đi sáng tác của nhạc sĩ Nguyễn Ánh với phần trình diễn của ca sĩ Võ Thu Nga và Phương Thúy.
Thank you to both of you. We're having some technical difficulty. The 50th is it's a big moment in history, so the pressure is on. Thank you again to Ji Bao Tu Nga and Ji Fung Tui for your rendition of Mok Mung Di, reminding us of what our parents and grandparents left behind after the fall. We're also reminded of how far we've come as a community here in the United States, especially in Northern California. For the past 50 years, the strength of the Vietnamese American community has been exemplified by its participation, civically, socially, and politically. In San Jose, like in many of our households, when issues arise that don't really serve our needs, we speak up and advocate for ourselves, or we lend in, right? So as we gather here this evening at San Jose City Hall's Rotunda in our 13th year of organizing this Black April commemoration, I'd like to invite to the stage the mayor of San Jose, Matt Mahan, to share some remarks.
Thank you, Philip. Kin chào quý vị, tôi là Matt Mahan, Ti Trong Qua Tanfo, San Jose. It's good to be here with all of you. It's an honor to be here with all of you as we commemorate 50 years since the fall of Saigon. And I want to thank Executive Director Philip Nguyen, his board chairs Mimi and Jennifer of the Vietnamese American Roundtable, and Councilmember Bien Duan, all of my colleagues for bringing us together this evening. We're joined by Councilmember Mulcahy, Councilmember Candelas, Councilmember Campos. I hope I'm not missing any others. I also see, and you'll hear shortly from representatives at other levels of government, including Assemblymember Kalra and Supervisor Young. We had quite a showing earlier today for a flag-raising ceremony earlier this morning as well. And also just want to recognize the performers. Would you join me in giving a quick round of applause to everyone who performed earlier? They were exceptional, especially our young people. As we remember Black April, we remember the pain of the millions of Vietnamese who lost their homeland, their loved ones, their way of life. We remember those who risked everything to escape oppression and danger in search of freedom and safety, many of whom found that freedom and safety and opportunity right here in San Jose. We also remember the many who never made it. Today, we honor that first generation of Vietnamese Americans who have woven their energy, their hard work, and their heritage into our city over these last 50 years. Truly, San Jose would not be the city it is today without the contributions of our incredible Vietnamese community brought here by that first generation. And we also recognize those younger generations who are now carrying the torch and remember the legacy of their parents and grandparents, their resiliency, their perseverance. What a legacy to be proud of and to support the community as we look to the next 50 years here in San Jose, as we work together to make our city the safe, clean, affordable, opportunity-filled place we all want to live in, to continue to be the welcoming city that we are, where people from all over the world come to seek a better life and to feel empowered to embrace and share their traditions. May our city continue to be a beacon for that freedom and diversity. And as I look around today at our beautiful Janet Gray Hayes Rotunda here at your City Hall, I see that we have the community leaders here who will ensure that our city continues to be that beacon for future generations. So once again, thank you for allowing us to help you commemorate this terrible chapter in history. But I am truly grateful that that loss also became a tremendous gain for our city. And we are so much better for our Vietnamese community. Sing, come on. Thank you all very much. I'd like to invite up Councilmember Bien Nguyen to say a few remarks, and then we'll present a commendation on behalf of the City Council.
Thank you, Mayor. This afternoon, the Huey helicopter flew above us as we raised the flag and then half-staff. I can see it in our elder eyes. I can see their emotion. The tears of sadness, but yet there's the tears of pride. It touches my every cell in my soul. It reminded me, as a part of the refugee American left in 1975, that I must and continue on with their legacy. To be proud to be an American, but also to be proud as a Vietnamese. When I stand in front of the mirror every single day, I see a Vietnamese facing me. Let me know who I am, where I came from, and which direction I need to take. It isn't empowering when you see our elders that have sacrificed their lives, crossed the ocean for their children, for their grandchildren. And they sacrifice everything they have to build our community right here in the city of San Jose. For us, for every one of us here to benefit, not just the Vietnamese, but we are the intelligent, the economic power. We contribute in every aspect to this community. And we're proud to be an American. And we're proud that American has opened her arms and allowed us to live a new life. But it's allowed us to continue to fight. And what is that fight? When you look at that flag, the fight for freedom. That flag, the yellow flag with 3 stripes, is represented north, south, and central. That many, 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 including my family, had died fighting for it. Because of their courage, their extraordinary determination, that helped me to be who I am. I stand on their shoulder. I stand on their hard work. I stand on their great contribution. But yet today, it's a solemn day. But we also recognize that the younger generation that take the lead to preserve our culture, to preserve our language, not only for 50 years, but for thousands of years to come. Tonight, we honor the history. We honor their courage. But yet, our responsibility is to shape tomorrow. It is these young people that you see performing, the young people who lead right now. That's our future. That is our responsibility. And I want to say thank you to VARS, to all the board's members, and to all the young people out there, including Betty, who has come back to our community to make a difference. Again, I am honored. I am proud to be a Vietnamese, and I'm proud to be American. And I thank you, all of you, who attend today. And I see many different nationalities here. We come together as a country to mourn with us, to help us, to collaborate with us, to make sure that their legacy will never be forgotten. Thank you so much. I would like to say a few words in Vietnamese. Kính thưa quý vị, quý đồng hương, tôi là một người tị nạn cộng sản. Tôi đã bị mất nước như quý vị. Nhưng mà nhờ cái hy sinh của quý vị, nhờ cái hy sinh của bao nhiêu người chiến sĩ và đồng minh của mình, nên tôi mới có đứng đây có một lời nói. Tôi rất là biết ơn và tri ân. Và tôi mong là tất cả đứa trẻ ở đây không bao giờ quên cái hy sinh đó. Mà tôi mong muốn là một ngày cái lá cờ vàng ba sọc đỏ sẽ bay lên nguyên thế giới và bay trong Việt Nam của mình là cái lá cờ vàng ba sọc đỏ. Tôi xin quý vị đoàn kết với nhau, đứng vững tựa vô vai nhau để nâng đỡ cho thế hệ sau. Tôi xin quý vị nhớ và đừng bao giờ quên cái hy sinh của bao nhiêu chiến sĩ. Tôi cảm ơn quý vị rất là nhiều.
Thank you, Mayor Mahan and Councilmember Dawn. If you've been to our, this is the 13th time that the Vietnamese American Roundtable is hosting this Black April commemoration in the 50th year. If you have been to our event before, you know that this is our favorite part, you know? When we have all the elected officials come and share their remarks. I think for this year, we wanted to switch it up a little bit because at this moment in history, we are very truly honored, as Councilmember Duan mentioned, to be represented and to be joined by two Vietnamese American elected leaders whose districts both include San Jose's Little Saigon and a place we call home. Councilmember Dawn is the 5th elected Vietnamese American council member here in San Jose, and I am honored to welcome up Santa Clara County Supervisor Betty Yeung, who is the first Vietnamese American to serve on the Board of Supervisors representing District 2.
Hi everyone, my name is Betty Yeung. I am joined on stage today by my colleagues Amy V. Nguyen, representing Supervisor Margaret Abe-Koga for District 5, Nancy Lay, Chief of Staff to Supervisor Silva Arenas of District 1, and Tay Vu Nguyen of Supervisorial District 3 on behalf of Supervisor Otto Lee. I'm going to begin my remarks in Vietnamese, if that's okay with everybody. Xin kính chào quý cô, chú bác, anh chị. Betty Yeung là giám sát viên quận hạt Santa Clara đại diện cho khu vực 2. Hôm nay Betty rất xúc động và vinh dự được có mặt tại tòa thị chính thành phố San Jose để cùng quý vị tưởng niệm 50 năm biến cố tháng Tư đen. Một cột mốc lịch sử đầy tang thương nhưng cũng là biểu tượng cho sự kiên cường của cộng đồng người Việt tại hải ngoại. Hôm nay là một ngày vô cùng đau buồn với cộng đồng người Việt tị nạn. Vì chính ngày này, 50 năm trước, ngày 30 tháng 4 năm 1975, biến cố lịch sử đau thương đã xảy ra, mở đầu cho hành trình vượt thoát, ly hương và tị nạn của hàng triệu người Việt khắp nơi trên thế giới. Chúng ta có mặt hôm nay để tưởng nhớ những người đã ngã xuống nơi chiến trường, trong trại cải tạo, giữa rừng sâu hay ngoài biển cả. Và chúng ta cũng tri ân những người đã sống sót, đã xây dựng lại cuộc đời từ hai bàn tay trắng nơi xứ lạ quê nhà. Là người Việt đầu tiên được bầu vào Hội đồng Giám sát quận hạt Santa Clara, Betty luôn mang trong mình niềm tự hào và lòng biết ơn sâu sắc đối với những bậc tiền nhân, những người đã hy sinh tất cả để mở đường cho thế hệ mai sau. Lá cờ vàng ba sọc đỏ không chỉ là biểu tượng của tự do mà còn là biểu tượng cho sức mạnh, lòng kiên cường và sự đóng góp thầm lặng nhưng to lớn của cộng đồng người Việt tị nạn cộng sản tại quê hương thứ hai này suốt nửa thế kỷ qua. Từ tận đáy lòng, con xin được gửi đến những bậc tiền bối, đến cha mẹ, đến cộng đồng yêu quý, lời tri ân chân thành nhất, chính tình thương, sự kiên nhẫn và niềm tin của quý vị đã nâng bước thế hệ thứ hai đến ngày hôm nay. Con cảm ơn quý vị đã cho con cơ hội được phục vụ và được đồng hành cùng cộng đồng trong hành trình đầy ý nghĩa này. Thay mặt cho Hội đồng Giám sát viên hôm nay với các bạn, Betty xin trao bằng tưởng lục cho Hội Vietnamese American Roundtable để ghi nhận những đóng góp của hội cho cộng đồng người Việt tại quận hạt Santa Clara và tổ chức buổi lễ tưởng niệm tháng Tư đen hôm nay. Years ago, Santa Clara County became one of only 3 congressionally designated refugee resettlement sites. We were one of the first. The county built a refugee resettlement program, services, housing, food support, literally overnight. My mom and dad was in a refugee camp in Indonesia when they received word that they were being flown to San Francisco and coming to a city called San Jose. My mom was 24. Her and my dad had pushed off in the middle of the night on a fishing boat, a very familiar story to many of my young friends and my elders here. They lost count of the days, the number of days that they floated out in the open ocean until a shipping container came to pick them up. Not all of them made it. They were dropped off at an island refugee camp where they waited for 2 years before Santa Clara County called and said, "We welcome you with open arms." That is the story of San Jose and the story of Santa Clara County, welcoming refugees that some people didn't want. And we have rebuilt, time and time again, our lives and our community here. Our representation is strong at the county and at the city. Our allies come from across communities, and we continue to contribute to the landscape of Santa Clara County and the city of San Jose. I am so honored. I fully feel the weight of being the first Vietnamese American elected to the County Board of Supervisors, working and leading and helping to create programs with my colleagues to support and build the world we wish we had, we wish our parents had when they first came to America. I thank you for your solidarity, for your allyship, and for your presence today. I thank my elders for never giving up. I think the only way I could describe it is that you left with eternal optimism weighed against incredible heartbreak. That is the level of strength that I don't know if I ever could achieve, but I will draw from it every single day to help build this better world that we all dream of together. I thank you. I thank you, community, both blood and adopted. I thank you, cô chú, ông bà, anh chị. Some of us may not have met before, but I know you've led with love for future generations and the hope of what we can become. May we continue building together. Thank you. Bard, will you join me in presenting this commendation?
Thank you, Supervisor Young and representatives from the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors. Okay, before we bring everyone up, we got the San Jose City Council coming. We got to make sure that all accommodations are received, so I'm inviting the San Jose City Council for a collective accommodation and picture. And then on deck, I have State Assembly Member Kalra to share some remarks. I know since you just came from the Capitol where the Vietnamese Freedom and Heritage flag is waving. Thank you, San Jose City Council members. Thank you. Thank you. And as much as I'm the one up here receiving these, this is really, for our community, an ode to our community. I want to take this time to invite State Assembly Member Kara to the stage. He's been a longtime supporter of our Black April commemoration, including for today. And I know that we just had a very historic moment at the Capitol. So please, Ash.
Thank you. Xin chào quý vị, tôi tên là Ash Kalra, đến View Bank, California. It's an honor to be your state assembly member and to be here representing our state representatives. This for anyone that's an immigrant that has their story, it really resonates to see the power of the community right now. The sorrow, but also the resilience. It was a little over 75 years ago that my father and his family had to pick up everything they could, and within hours fled during the partition in India, and they lost everything. It was a lot for them to survive, let alone to rebuild and to rebuild a life here in San Jose. My father always says, still to this day, that the best place in the world to live is San Jose. And this is part of the reason why. There are not a lot of places in the world where we come together and celebrate one another, commemorate and commiserate with one another, and understand that we all had our different journeys that brought us here, and that arriving here, we embrace one another until we feel comfortable enough to call it our own home, and then we embrace the next set of refugees or immigrants that come here. Whether they're coming from the East Coast, or they're coming from Asia, Europe, Africa, South America, we know we're stronger because of it. And so Black April, as mentioned by many, is certainly a day where we want to think about, show gratitude towards, and sorrow about all the loss, because those sacrifices are real. Those sacrifices that were made so that all of us can live in freedom. The sacrifices made by grandparents and parents so that their children can have a better life. And all the kids we saw dancing today are a representation of the sacrifice of those that may have been gone long ago, but are living through the spirit of those children. Someone like Supervisor Betty Young is only a dream for those that were never able to leave the shores. And so today in Sacramento, it was a great honor to join with Assemblymember Tree Todd from Orange County, and Senator Dave Cortese, to have our own commemoration at the Vietnam War Memorial on the Capitol grounds in Sacramento. And I was privileged to be able to provide 2 buses for folks to come up there from here in San Jose. And I appreciate Senator Cortese for contributing to that, and Supervisor Young for providing coffee and water and refreshments before they boarded that bus, or those buses. But we also have made history today. For the first time, we were able to fly this beautiful flag in Sacramento. And it wasn't easy to work through the Sacramento bureaucracy. It took well over a month to make it happen, but it was up there in front of the building where our assembly and Senate offices, the governor and lieutenant governor offices are. Right outside of that building flew this beautiful freedom flag. And additionally, a couple weeks ago, I was in Orange County with Assemblymember Treetop when he unveiled the Little Saigon Freeway sign in Orange County. That following Monday, I introduced legislation in order to name a part of 101 here, Little Saigon Freeway. And so, on this important day to remember the past, we must remember that we always have to do things to build the path for the future. Whether it's important symbolism, like flying this beautiful flag, and by the way, when we actually, along with Assemblymember Ta, passed a state resolution to recognize this as the flag of the Vietnamese community, and to have it flown, encourage everyone to fly it everywhere throughout our state. So these symbols are important. The Little Saigon Freeway sign is important, but ultimately it's about the next generation, for them to remember the sacrifices, but even more importantly, for them to build upon those sacrifices, which they have done incredibly well. Vietnamese American Roundtable is an example of that. The example of that next generation, not only never forgetting, but paving a better future for our entire community. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful. And I have a small token of appreciation for myself, Assemblymember Gail Pellerin, and Assemblymember Alex Lee, in recognition of of this important commemoration of the fall of Saigon's 50th anniversary.
Thank you all so much for the remarks. We at the Vietnamese American Roundtable also understand how important it is for us to be heard and have a seat at the table. And so at this point in time, I think Assemblymember Colorado, you mentioned the word commiserate, which in Vietnamese is the chia buom. I think at the same time that we chia buom with each other here in community, we also, for me, I'd like to chia trách nhiệm and invite my board of directors up to the stage, who are going to be recognizing our community's growth and recognizing all of the elected officials, representatives, and dignitaries that we have here joining us in the audience today. And then we'll invite you up at the end for a picture together. I'll pass it to Mr. Hui Tran.
Good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing all of our elected officials. It's always an honor to see the support of those who represent us in our democracy here this evening. We have a good number of elected officials who are here tonight, so I ask that we all hold our applause until everyone is on stage for one final photo. First off, I'd like to recognize and welcome our congressional representatives. Tom Pike for Congressmember Ro Khanna. Please hold our applause, y'all. I know we have a lot of people we're going to clap for. Thank you. I'd like to call up Victoria Tweeby McDowell on behalf of Congressmember Sam Liccardo. Okay, just one clap, like one time. Okay, we'll practice. I'd like to welcome now our state representatives. First, let me welcome up Rebecca Bauer, Elizabeth Vaca for State Senator Ayesha Wahab. Thank you. Very good, very good. Okay. Let me also welcome up, Phương Nguyen for State Senator Dave Cortese. Thank you, you all are pros, this is excellent. I'd like to call up Assemblymember Oscar Holler once again. I'd like to call up Tim Orozco for Assemblymember Alex Lee. Also, please welcome Hannah Barnes for Assemblymember Gail Pellerin. Excellent, you all. On behalf of our county representatives, I'd like to recall Supervisor Betty Yu. I'd like to call up Nancy Lay on behalf of Supervisor Sylvia Arenas. I'd like to call up Amy Nguyen on behalf of Supervisor Margaret Abekoga. Oh, I'm sorry, David as well, please. Thank you. For our city, let us welcome back two very familiar faces, Mayor Matt Mahan, please, and City Council Member Bing Doan. All right, thank you. I'd like to also call up Council Member Pamela Campos and Council Member Domingo Candelas. We also have with us Eileen Lay from the Sunnyvale City Council. Lastly, I'd like to recognize our school board members, Derek Bradsky from Mount Pleasant School Board, Hầm Hoa Hoang from Franklin McKinley District, Min Nguyen from Allen Rock Union School District, and lastly, Nina Chuang representing the Office of the President of San Jose State University. There's a lot of folks on stage here, and I apologize if we missed you. If we have, please feel free to stand up. We will make sure we call you on stage. But everyone, please welcome and thank you to all of our elected officials. And now for our photos. Thank you once again, please.
Thank you so much to we, our board of directors, and to all of our elected officials. I have some interns, and we have the youth volunteers in the back. Remember to study hard. You know, we hope to see you on the stage 10, 15, 20, 25 years down the line. And now, with that, as we wrap up just the first portion of our program, that's the cue for the video on the Fall of Saigon and refugee journeys.
Gửi đi thông điệp gì cho các bạn trong nước và ngoài nước? Thưa, chúng tôi không có thông điệp, mà chúng tôi cũng không dám nghĩ đến cái điều đó. Tuy nhiên, qua cái buổi nói chuyện này, chúng ta có thể trao đổi với các bạn, chia sẻ với các bạn. Khi mà chia sẻ thì chúng ta bổ túc lẫn nhau. Chúng tôi nghĩ rằng hôm nay ở trong nước chế độ cộng sản vẫn còn tồn tại, và còn độc ác hơn nữa, độc ác một cách tinh vi, bởi vì họ học được những cái technology của thế giới để dùng cái kỹ thuật đó để đàn áp lại cái dân chúng. Chúng ta ở đây, các bạn được sinh ra tại Việt Nam, được còn trẻ qua đây, sinh hoặc là sinh ra ở đây. Điều chúng tôi muốn chia sẻ với các bạn trước tiên, hãy sống thật với lòng mình, sống thật với gia đình, sống thật với bạn bè. Có nghĩa là chúng ta tôn trọng sự thật, có nghĩa là chúng ta tôn trọng sự thật của lịch sử. Như lời ông nhà văn Richard Botkin, cái tác giả cái cuốn sách Ride the Thunder và cái bộ phim cùng tên, ông nói rằng cộng sản Việt Nam đã viết lại lịch sử, và lịch sử cái loại đó sẽ tồn tại lâu dài về sau. Nếu chúng ta không làm điều gì để mà ngăn chặn thì lịch sử đó vẫn tồn tại, con cháu chúng ta tin đó là sự thật. Vậy thì chúng ta phải chiến thắng, dấn thân để chiến thắng cái sự dối trá, cái loại lịch sử này. Ngày xưa, một người sử gia mà viết lịch sử trung thực, vua chém đầu. Người thứ hai cũng phải chém đầu cho đất. Chúng tôi người thứ năm, thứ sáu, cuối cùng vua phải chịu thua để họ làm cái việc viết lại cái lịch sử gọi là minh sử. Ngày hôm nay, nếu mà đọc tài liệu về lịch sử Việt Nam, nhất là Đảng Cộng sản Việt Nam, không phải là minh sử mà giống như là giả sử, là cái dối trá. Các bạn nên nghiên cứu lịch sử chiến tranh Việt Nam từ mọi nguồn tài liệu. Đó là cái may mắn của các bạn. Nếu các bạn ở trong nước một phần nào đó nhờ internet, nhưng mà cái lối tuyên truyền của cộng sản thì người ta vẫn cái bị động độc như thường. Cũng có cái may là các bạn trẻ trong nước có cơ hội đi du học ra nước ngoài, nhìn thấy hiểu được Ngày hôm nay là các bạn trẻ mà sống tại hải ngoại, hãy sống bổn phận của một công dân của cái nước dân tài đó, tuân thủ luật pháp, đặc biệt là trau dồi kiến thức tối đa. Các bạn học được chừng nào thì hãy chừng đó. Chưa hết, cái yếu tố cuối cùng mà chúng tôi chia sẻ với các bạn là lương tri. Kiến thức là nó đi tới mức giới hạn nào đó và đôi khi nó bất định, mất chiều hướng. Nhưng mà nếu các bạn có lương tri là giống như là một cái tôn giáo vậy. Nếu có tôn giáo thì tôn giáo sẽ hướng dẫn cái kiến thức đó đi tới chỗ nào, hướng nào mà có lợi cho gia đình, có lợi cho bản thân, có lợi cho xã hội và có lợi cho đất nước. Vậy thì có thể kết luận các bạn tôn trọng sự thật, tìm hiểu lịch sử, trang bị cho mình cái vũ khí tương lai là kiến thức và lương tri. Có như vậy, một khi mà chế độ cộng sản sụp đổ, thay đổi biến hóa một cái thể chế dân chủ, các bạn có cơ hội, không cần kêu gọi, các bạn chắc chắn sẽ thể giúp đất nước một cách thiết thực hơn. Như trước đây, trước khi mà mất miền Nam thì chính phủ Việt Nam Cộng Hòa có chỉ thị Cục Công binh soạn thảo cái công năng hậu chiến, cái cuốn sách dài lắm. Trước đây cái cuốn sách đó không được phát hành bởi vì ngày 30 tháng 4. Nếu mà chiến tranh chấm dứt trong hòa bình thì Việt Nam, nói không phải Việt Nam Cộng Hòa nào mà Việt Nam mà thống nhất rồi thì trở thành cái nước là đứng đầu trong khu vực Đông Nam Á và có vị trí xứng đáng, giá trị trên thế giới. Xin cảm ơn các bạn trẻ. Chúng tôi gửi đi thông điệp gì cho các bạn trong nước và ngoài nước? Thưa chúng tôi không có. Mà chúng tôi
As many of us are children and descendants of refugees who fled from Vietnam during these events that you just saw, and after the fall of Saigon, we grew up hearing about what life was like under the communist regime after the end of the war. We ask ourselves often, why did our families leave after the end of the war? Why didn't they stay? So we continue our program and remember refugee journeys across the sea with the Tran family siblings, a family that often features at local community events, that emphasizes the importance for the younger generation to know about and also to perform these songs for us just not to remember, but to never forget where we came from. The song Nhớ Mẹ is composed by Lê Minh Đảo and Do Trọng Huê, both former officers of the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, and was written during their time imprisoned in re-education camps, reminding us of how even in the most desperate of times, nothing was more important than where we come from. Not only our fathers and brothers who served in the military, but also our mothers who did everything they could to keep our families together.
Là một người con được sinh ra và lớn lên tại Mỹ, đó là một điều vô cùng may mắn. May mắn không chỉ vì được trưởng thành trên một đất nước tự do, mà may mắn vì có cha mẹ hy sinh tất cả vì con cái. Có nhiều người con là first generation college student, mang trên vai trách nhiệm phải lo cho gia đình. Nhưng cũng có nhiều người con giống như Nguyên Minh, rất ngây thơ, sung sướng, được ba mẹ hy sinh tất cả vì mình, và đến tận bây giờ vẫn được cha mẹ lo từng bữa ăn, cái mặc. Vì vậy Nguyên Minh xin cảm ơn ba mẹ Nguyên Minh và tất cả ông bà, cha mẹ đã âm thầm hy sinh cả một cuộc đời vì con cái. Vì Nguyên Minh hiểu rằng là đi khắp thế gian không ai thương con bằng mẹ, gánh nặng cuộc đời không ai khổ bằng cha.
And now we would like to welcome to the stage a young and up-and-coming singer in the Vietnamese community, Ms. Catherine Tran. much to Catherine and Henry. And their mom, is sitting right here in the front. Shout out. Up next, we'd like to welcome to the stage their sister, Samantha, who is going to be joining her siblings to perform the song Đem Nhớ Về Saigon, composed by Trầm Tử Thiên, which captures the uncertainty experienced by many Vietnamese families who were separated and living in exile, starting from this day 50 years ago, April 30th, 1975.
Dạ, con xin chào quý vị khán giả. Dạ, con tên là Samantha Quỳnh Hương Trần. Dạ, và hôm nay con xin hát một bài gọi là Đem Nhớ Về Sài Gòn. Hello everyone, as Philip introduced me, I'm Samantha Tran. Today I would like to sing a song called Đem Nhớ Về Sài Gòn.
Nhớ về Sài Gòn.
thì thấy nhiều quý vị hỏi về thức ăn. Vì để giữ cho buổi lễ được trang nghiêm thì thức ăn sẽ được phục vụ vào sau chương trình.
Decision to leave or stay?
Well, I think that for us, it was a somewhat easy decision for two reasons. One is that our family came from the north. So in 1954, my grandparents and my parents actually had to leave Vietnam because of the communist and the way that the country was divided. And second of all, I think that our family was, just like Mr. Wu said, is in the military, therefore there was fear that we were going to be persecuted, both because of our affinity with the government, but also because we were Catholics. And that was the reason that in 1954 a lot of people left, was because they were in fear of being persecuted for being Catholics.
Vietnamese in Vietnam have a very different take on April 30th, 1975 than Vietnamese here in America. Tell us about that.
Well, for those Vietnamese living in Vietnam, 1975, they considered it the day of liberation, because they then began to be liberated from the Americans and they unified their country. So for them it was a celebration. It was one of those things that was received very well. For those of us who are Vietnamese American, we think of it as the dark day. It was the darkest day because we, as Vietnamese refugees, left our home. So we remember it, we commemorate it with the painful realization that our homeland has now no longer free. It is now no longer what we used to think of it as our homeland.
Okay, so I mean, the second question I kind of altered a little bit, maybe adding on.
Okay.
So I'll repeat the questions again, and you can answer them in order. Okay. And we'll just go along. Just right.
Okay.
So the first question we have is, what do you want the next generation, children of refugees and immigrants, of Vietnamese Americans in the South Bay, to know about what you and your generation endured?
So I think the most important thing that I would want them to know is their history. But beyond that, right? So I want them to be engaged in their history and their knowledge about that. But then take that knowledge and think about how they can build it more. Because I think that one of the things that my generation and the older generations have done is to build the foundation. And we build the community in the image that we think we want it to be. And it may not be similar to what the younger generation, would like it to be, right? And so at this moment, as we get older and as we pass on, I think it's critical that the younger generation think about, well, what do we want to see, right? What communities, how do we build communities? What do we want our legacies to be as you engage in this new chapter in your life?
That's great. Yes. Okay. And then the next question is, what is one piece of advice that you would give your younger self, knowing what you know now based on your experience and journey from Vietnam to the United States?
That's a hard one. I think that it would be, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be lost. But it's important to be curious. It's important to not be afraid. And to challenge yourself regardless of the circumstances that you find yourself in. But also to have sort of the reasonable confidence that you will survive, right? And that there are things that you will be able to discover about yourself, about the journey, that you could never have predicted as my younger self when I was whatever age you want to think about that. No doubt it'll be hard. There'll be a lot of challenges along the way, but I think that we have sort of the legacies and the knowledge and the cultural toolkits from our ancestors that will allow us to overcome, to deal with some of these issues. And one of the greatest things I think that our community has is a sense of resilience, right? That we have lived through many, many wars. We have lived through many circumstances that were unpredictable, and yet we all survived. We're scarred, but we all survived, and we all have made it so that things will be better for the next generation. So.
All right, that's good. And then I guess like building on that, something that I've always been curious about, because like after you've taught Asian American Studies, you've been a sociologist, you've worked with the community. What is something that you notice with the Vietnamese community that is either like special or something that you think we could all improve on as a community?
So I think the drawbacks, right, of working in the community is that in the first period of the community, that I think people were vying for exposure and status because they had lost their status when they left Vietnam, right? So you went from a colonel to a janitor, you went from a professor to whatever, right? And so they were trying to find themselves, and because of that, I think that there's a sense of loss. And so if we don't know that, then we can't figure out how to communicate with them, right? So that's one of the challenges, and I think the other challenge is sort of culturally that sometimes we don't let younger people do the things that they do because we believe that the older knows more. And I suspect that that is not necessarily the case, especially given where we are in the US, right? Because I think that younger people have been educated, have been exposed to, are much more versed in a lot of the things that those of us who are older didn't get exposed to. And you have a very different vision, I think, of what the society is like, right? So it's just sort of like this coming up together of the minds that you have to compromise, that you have to understand where the other person is coming from, so that you can figure out what is best, not for you individually, but for our community as a whole, right? So the whole idea of being the ego-driven is really hard because all of us want to be acknowledged as we are, whatever it is we are. It's much harder to be humble and to be in the background and to support, right, those who are doing the things that we think are important. And so as a teacher, as a professor, that's always been sort of my approach, right? That I have a lot of knowledge because I read a lot, because I write a lot, because I publish a lot, but that doesn't mean that I'm superior to whoever else, right? So in Buddhism, there's this idea of the beginner's mind, that you come in and you always have your mind that's completely open so that you can center this. And I think for me, having worked in the community, that's always been a challenge, right? Because people think that you are this and I am that, and I'm higher than you and you should listen to me. And so that becomes complicated. And without understanding why, then we can't work together, right? And so that's kind of what I see as the difficulties in having been engaged in the community. But at the same time, being a professor, it allowed me to really have kind of a credibility and credentials and status that most people don't have, right? When I walk into the room and instead of Mr. Doe, they go Dr. Doe, and it's like, oh, right? That's a little bit of that.
Dr. Doe, you still here in the room with us? Oh, Dr. Doe, right there in the back, y'all. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. And if you're here as a Spartan, please make some noise. All the Spartans, I want to honor you, Dr. Doe, because I know you're also retiring after the end of this year. So thank you. Thank you for your work. For the displaced refugees of the Vietnam War, as they landed on the shores of refugee camps in places like Thailand, Pulau Bidong in Malaysia, Bataan in the Philippines, Hong Kong, Indonesia, and Guam, scattered across the Pacific Ocean, processed in refugee camps on their way to America in search of freedom, resettling in exile in Little Saigons. Our next performance honors these journeys and the cost of freedom in pursuit of liberty with Don Nguyen and David Nguyen as they sing Sindai Mok Nu Gui by Nam Long. As children of refugees, we honor our elders by continuing to be fierce advocates on behalf of other displaced communities throughout the world who seek asylum and human rights in their home countries.
Freedom is not free. Vì hai chữ tự do, ta chấp nhận một cuộc đời lưu vong. Trải qua bao tháng năm với tinh thần kiên cường của ông bà cha mẹ, hành trình đầy khổ ải đã đưa người tị nạn đến được bến bờ tự do. Xin cảm ơn đất nước Hoa Kỳ đã giang tay cưu mang biết bao nhiêu người Việt để ngày hôm nay chúng ta có cơ hội để xây dựng một cuộc sống mới đầy hy vọng. Xin quý vị tưởng niệm qua ca khúc Xin đời một nụ cười của nhạc sĩ Nam Lộc qua phần trình diễn của Don Nguyễn và David Nguyễn.
Sài Gòn trong cơn hâm hối, ôi Sài Gòn chờ đợi thở hơi cuối cùng. Tôi bước đi tận sân nhất lửa khói ngập trời, khu thương xa cửa khép cuộc đời, những con tàu ngơ ngác ra khơi.
David Nguyen and Don Nguyen, everybody. Indelible mark on this nation. In the late 1970s and early 80s, Vietnamese 50 years ago, in 1975, the fall of Saigon marked a new beginning for hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese refugees. They arrived in America with little, but carried with them resilience, hope, and a deep culture that would soon leave an indelible mark on this nation. In the late 1970s and early 80s, Vietnamese Americans worked tirelessly to rebuild their lives from scratch. In Southern California, Little Saigon emerged in Westminster, the first vibrant hub of Vietnamese life in the US, soon echoed in cities like Houston, New Orleans, and San Jose. Organizations like BPSOS began rescuing refugees adrift at sea, then grew into powerful community institutions, supporting everything from legal aid to civic engagement. Music productions like Lang Vang, Thuy Nha, and Asia Entertainment preserved the soul of the homeland, bringing Vietnamese voices, songs, and stories into living rooms across America, keeping culture alive in every note. In 1990, Jacqueline Nguyen, once a child refugee working in her family's donut shop, began her legal career, one that would lead to the federal bench as a U.S. Circuit Court judge. By the 1990s, the second generation was coming of age, and Vietnamese Americans began leaving their mark in every field. Dat Nguyen became the first Vietnamese American to play and star in the NFL, defying stereotypes and inspiring a generation. Entrepreneurs like David Jung, the founder of Huy Fong Foods, turned humble recipes into cultural icons, his sriracha hot sauce becoming a staple in kitchens across America. In the arts, filmmakers like Tony Bui and Ham Tran, and memoirists like Layli Hayslip and Andrew Lum brought the Vietnamese American story to screens and bookshelves around the world. Stories of war, migration, healing, and identity. In the 2000s, Vietnamese Americans began reshaping the political landscape in more visible and powerful ways. In 2008, Anh Joseph Cao made history as the first Vietnamese American elected to Congress, a milestone once thought impossible. In California, Janet Nguyen broke barriers as the first Vietnamese American state senator and later a leader in the state assembly, championing policies that affected millions. Beyond elected office, advocates and organizers built new platforms for representation and justice, turning the traumas of the past into movements for equity, civic power, and human rights. Dr. Eugene Trinh soared beyond earthly borders, becoming the first Vietnamese American astronaut to fly in space. And survivors like Minh Dang transformed their personal stories into national advocacy, leading efforts to end human trafficking and uplift vulnerable communities. Meanwhile, in media and culture, Vietnamese Americans pushed creative boundaries. Dustin Nguyen broke ground in television, and Michelle Phan helped pioneer the influencer economy, reaching millions online with beauty, business, and empowerment. By the 2010s, achievements were accelerating. Viet Thanh Nguyen, whose family owned the second Vietnamese supermarket in San Jose, won the Pulitzer Prize for The Sympathizer, redefining the immigrant novel, refugee novel, and elevating Vietnamese American literature to global acclaim. Ocean Vuong's poetry and literary prowess gave an intimate voice to themes of family, queerness, and the legacy of war. Tom Cross edited Oscar-winning films, Lana Condor led Netflix blockbusters, and Hong Chau's performances earned Golden Globe and Oscar nominations, shining a light on nuanced Asian American characters. In business and innovation, Vietnamese Americans were leading boldly. Eric Lee, co-founder of LinkedIn, helped build one of the world's most influential tech platforms. Sarah Nguyen reimagined Vietnamese coffee for a new generation through Nguyen Coffee Supply, honoring tradition while embracing change. In sports, Lilia Vu climbed the global ranks of professional golf, becoming the world's #1 in 2023. Rear Admiral Huong Nguyen became the highest-ranking Vietnamese American in U.S. Navy history, while Major General Lương Xuân Viet became the first Vietnamese-born general in the U.S. Army, both completing powerful journeys from refugee to military leader. In 2025, civil rights activist Amanda Nguyen would soar among the stars to become the first Vietnamese American woman in space. Today, Vietnamese American life is woven into the fabric of America. Death celebrations light up cities coast to coast. Little Saigons now stand not just in California, but across the country. National organizations like UNAFSA foster leadership and service among young Vietnamese Americans. Pivot uplifts Vietnamese voices in policy and politics. Viet Rise fights for immigrant justice, while the Vietnamese American Cancer Foundation leads in equity and education. Through every hardship and triumph, the story of Vietnamese Americans is not only one of survival, but of resilience, creativity, service, and profound contribution. 50 years ago, they fled with hope. Today, they lead, they create, they inspire. The Vietnamese American story is a story of a people, once displaced, now inseparable from the heart of America. This event exists in part as a way for those of us here attending to connect with our shared past. This complicated history and the beginning of how we understand what it means to be Vietnamese American usually starts with questions around the dinner table. If y'all haven't had a chance to, when we're eating dinner, you can check out the Cơm Gia Đình exhibit in the back. Somewhere the questions kind of fall somewhere along the lines of, why did our families leave Vietnam? What happened during and after the war that brought us here to the United States? Why don't we ever talk about being Vietnamese? And what does it mean to be from a Vietnamese refugee family in the Bay Area? Our entire stage this year includes performances by young Vietnamese Americans, including Vara's own intern, Maria Blaze, hoping to ask and answer questions about what it really does mean to be Vietnamese American, how to honor the history of those who came before us, and what it means to be part of a community or a cộng đồng, something bigger than yourself, through music, art, and poetry. Maria will be performing an original piece called Nguồn Gốc, or Roots.
50 năm đã trôi qua, Nguyên Minh cảm thấy là mình thừa hưởng quá nhiều từ những gì mà thế hệ trước đã xây dựng. Em cảm thấy là mình rất là hạnh phúc được lớn lên ở San Jose, thành phố mà có đông người Việt nhất tại hải ngoại. Từ nhỏ thì Nguyên Minh rất may mắn là mình đã có phương tiện và điều kiện để đi học tiếng Việt tại Trung tâm Việt ngữ Văn Lang San Jose. Nhưng giống như bao nhiêu đứa trẻ khác, Nguyên Minh đi học chỉ để vui lòng cha mẹ. Đến khi Nguyên Minh đi volunteer và đi dạy lại các học sinh, thì lúc đó Nguyên Minh mới bắt đầu học và hiểu là tiếng Việt mình phong phú như thế nào, văn hóa mình đẹp biết bao. Và khi Nguyên Minh bước vào ngưỡng cửa cuộc đời, may mắn trở thành Hoa hậu áo dài California, Nguyên Minh mới mở ra cơ hội để biết đến nhiều tổ chức giống như VAR. Để ngày hôm nay, ngày 30 tháng 4, Nguyên Minh có thể học hỏi thêm về cội nguồn. Nguyên Minh nghĩ là mình là một product, là một sản phẩm được tạo nên bởi cộng đồng chúng ta. Nhưng làm sao mình đón chào 50 năm tiếp theo? Hồi nãy anh Philip có hỏi là what does it mean to be a Vietnamese American? Thì theo em, là người Mỹ gốc Việt, mình mang trọng trách gìn giữ và phát triển văn hóa Việt Nam tại Mỹ. Nếu không có các tổ chức, không có cộng đồng thì làm sao mình phát triển? Quý vị hãy tưởng tượng là nếu vào mùa Tết mà mình không có hội chợ Tết thì Nguyên Minh nghĩ là sẽ rất là buồn. Đặc biệt năm nay Nguyên Minh cảm thấy rất vui khi Voi đã mang lại cái diễn hành Tết để Nguyên Minh có thể gợi nhớ lại những kỷ niệm thời còn ấu thơ. Nguyên Minh xin kêu gọi các bậc phụ huynh khuyến khích con em của mình tham gia và volunteer vào những hội đoàn Việt Nam nhiều hơn nữa, để 50 năm sau cộng đồng người Việt có thể sản xuất ra nhiều sản phẩm của cộng đồng nữa. Và sau đây xin quý vị ủng hộ thế hệ trẻ của chúng ta, em Maria Blaze.
Bây giờ em có một thông điệp dành cho giới trẻ, chủ yếu bằng tiếng Anh. To those of us born here, raised here, growing up in a world where our parents had to learn how to survive in, I wrote something for you. 50 years ago, our family lost a country, but they didn't lose everything. They carried pieces with them. Seeds, stories, language, and pain, and they planted them here. That's why we're standing here today. It's about reminding ourselves that we come from something. Nguồn gốc, origin, roots. You may not always feel connected to it. Maybe you speak English at home because it's easier, or maybe you just don't know the right words in Vietnamese. Or you feel like your accent gives it away. Maybe you've sat across the dinner table from your parents wanting to ask them about the war, or the boats, or what they left behind, but you just don't know how to start. Or maybe they change the subject. Or maybe they say something along the lines of chuyện xưa đã qua rồi, stories of the past. But don't wait till you're older to care. Ask your mẹ about the garden in her hometown. Ask your ba about how he crossed the seas. Ask your bà ngoại about why she always saves the rinds of watermelon and why she always scraps the stems of railway. And if they don't answer, ask again. Because even silence carries meaning. And asking is how we keep the stories alive. Even if the language is broken, even if the memories are hard, even if some of the answers never come, keep asking. This isn't about guilt, it's about knowing that you're a part of something bigger, something that didn't end in 1975, something that's still growing right here, something that's growing in your schools, in your friendships, and the tips of your fingers every thud when you light incense. You are not the afterthought of history, you are the continuation. You are the next chapter. You are the dream they planted and when they packed everything into a suitcase and stepped onto a boat, or a plane, or a prayer. You don't have to carry the weight of the past alone, but you can't get rid of it either. Your nguồn gốc is not something to be ashamed of or confused about. It's something to return to grow from. Like Roundtable, fragile, fragrant, resilient. It comes back, season after season. We return not to where the story ended, but to where our roots still live. Nguồn gốc.
Thank you, Maria, for your meaningful piece and for showing us the power of connection across generations. This event is currently being live streamed on YouTube, and I know your mom's watching, and I'm sure she's very proud of you, so thank you. One of the things that I always fear as a younger Vietnamese American is that I'm very submagok, you know, like that would lose my corner, so it's a very kind reminder of our nguồn gốc in your piece. As we reflect and continue to remember who we are, where we come from, we're reminded of the growth and resiliency of our community and the shining stars throughout the years as the sun sets that continue to light the way. This year is VAR's 13th time, lần thứ 13, hosting the Black April commemoration. Each year, a different theme representative of the spirit and of the times. We'd like to invite to the stage one such star that you might know from the community, Miss Victoria Tweeby McDowell, to sing Den Hoài Hương by nhạc sĩ Phạm Duy, to take us back in time and space to our quê hương. Please give it up for Victoria Tweeby McDowell, who will be joined by David Nguyen on the keys.
Yeah.
so much, Victoria. We're keeping you on stage for this one. You know, you've been a mainstay here at Black April, and I mean around the community. I know what's the biggest stadium that you performed in?
The San Francisco 49ers.
Ooh, yeah. Because this doesn't hold all the talent that you're putting out to the community right now. I just want to let you know, I mean, on behalf of like VAR, and I think on behalf of all of us, we're so proud of you. And every time we hear you sing, I feel it in my bones. So I'm sure that everyone here really feels it and really thinks back to this idea of Pueblo, right? Yeah, isn't that right? Y'all feeling it, right? You're probably feeling it enough to want an encore, probably, right? I mean, would you be down for an encore, Victoria?
I would love to do a little encore.
Okay, so it's Black April. It's the 50th anniversary. We are remembering the past. We're trying to shape the future. What song are you thinking about?
So, at least for me, I love Vietnam. Love Vietnam. I've been able to go back to do charity work to help the orphans over there for 2 years now, for 2 summers. And especially on Black April, as many of you know, if you've seen me perform over the past 10 years, Black April makes me especially emotional, as was seen in many of my past performances here at VAR. And I think this song just captures all of the emotion that we have and the emotion that I'm sure a lot of the immigrants had, my mom being one of them, when you had to say farewell to the place you loved. So, to Vietnam, from us, from all of us, we will always love you.
And clap. So let's hear it. And I know that our volunteers are passing around tea light candles for everyone to hold up during your performance. Justin, we got any of those pictures of Victoria crying in previous Black Aprils? You got that? We're gonna pull that up. We're gonna pull that up right after this. But as the candles come around, please light them up and give it up one more time to Victoria Twinbee McDowell and a performance of I Will Always Love You, an ode to a faraway place by Whitney Houston.
If I should stay, I would only be your way. So I'll go, but I know I'll think of you every step.
treats you kind. And I hope you have all you've dreamed of. And I wish to you joy and happiness. But above all this, I wish you
One more time, give it up for Victoria Tweeby McDowell, y'all. We see that audience participation. Thank you so much, Victoria. And someone said Tamil by now. No, we can't, not yet. Next year. Before we get into our last song, we want to look forward towards the future. And we're gonna do that by video. Play it, Justin. Tonight, we would like to close our program the same way that any of our families would transition from some sort of ceremony to a warm meal and hearty conversations gathered around a family dinner table. We're gonna do karaoke. We are going to be led in this karaoke. We welcome back to the stage Mr. David Nguyen to lead us in our final song for tonight as we hopefully stand together, if y'all can stand up and sing along in hopeful harmony, welcoming the next 50 years of the Vietnamese American community together.
Hôm nay chúng em đã cảm ơn rất nhiều người, nhưng vào giây phút này, Vietnamese American Roundtable xin trân trọng cảm ơn tất cả quý vị đã có mặt ngày hôm nay để ủng hộ VOR. Đặc biệt, chúng con rất thương quý các bác, vì các bác có tinh thần bất khuất mà đã cho chúng con động lực để gìn giữ và phát triển văn hóa Việt Nam tại hải ngoại. Và để khép lại chương trình, kính mời quý vị cùng đồng ca bài Việt Nam quê hương ngạo nghễ, sáng tác bởi nhạc sĩ Nguyễn Đức Dũng. Nguyễn Đức Quang xin mời quý vị.
Đang nói bụng.
người đứng lên và cùng vẫy cờ và cùng hát chung với nhau. Và nếu mà cô chú nào biết bài này thì cầm cái mic con đi.
Philip hát giùm dạ.
Dạ, tụi con còn nhỏ, tụi con chưa biết hát. Dạ, cô chú nào biết hát thì dẫn đầu giùm tụi con được không ạ? Dạ.
Chứ tên gì rồi chú?
Tôi tên là Tiến.
Chứ Tiến có thể can you lead us and sing the song chú Tiến?
Dạ, xin các bạn.
Are you
Thank you all for joining us in We'll try again during dinner tonight. Food is in the back. In the back of the rotunda. We also want to take a moment to thank our event sponsors for tonight. Please take a lot of pictures. Please ask questions of your family that you brought here. Please eat dinner with them. We hope that you enjoyed tonight, the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon and this exodus of refugees. We also wanted to say that this event wasn't free. There is a QR code on the screen if you can hit it. If you want to donate to the Vietnamese American Roundtable, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and all donations are tax deductible to the extent required by law. Thank you all so much for coming. We hope you enjoy the program, and we look forward to seeing you next year for the 51st anniversary commemoration here at San Jose City Hall's Rotunda. Thank you. Vietnamese American Roundtable, which you can donate to.